Hello everyone, my name is Amy. I am the Black Cat Stitcher here on YouTube and on Instagram. And this is my channel where I share my hobby of cross stitch and reading, although today is going to be solely cross stitch focused. So yeah, speaking of today's focus, I decided that I was going to do a mid-year WIP parade to give you guys a look at all of my projects and to talk a little bit, I guess, about my plans going forward, because like I said in my previous video, I have completed all of my major WIP Go board goals for this year. The only things that are left that have yet to be called are, do 1,000 stitches on insert project here, which for me is just a way that I can, spend a couple days on a project to make sure that I make a little bit of progress within the year, and it's not a big difficult goal that I have to work really hard towards. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of gonna do this flow of consciousness, I guess. I will share my big plans, I guess, for some of my projects. But for most of my projects, it's going to be, I'll have it on my, WIP Go board for next year to, do 1,000 stitches, like I said, which is just to make sure that I make some progress on that project. But anyway, before we get into the WIP parade part, I do have a finish. Yay. Like I said in my last video, my plans were that once I was finished with the page on my HAED museum shelf by Amy Stewart, I would start working towards a finish on my snake pattern, which here's a picture of what it looked like when I finished it, or when I picked it up again, I suppose is the word. And here is my finish. Ta-da! Bring it a little closer here. Yeah, it was a really quick stitch, but I do have, I guess, some regrets and things that I wish I would have done differently for this project. One is the fabric. By the time I had started this one, I only had ever stitched on white 14 count Aida, and I didn't, think that I would want to spend the money on, hand-dyed fabric at the time, because I think this was like, I don't know, the third or fourth project that I ever started, and I think the fourth actually. The fourth project I ever started, and I was working through like a huge roll of 14 count Aida that I had bought on Amazon. So yeah, another thing, you can't really tell on camera. Maybe if I bring it up close, no, you can't really tell. But some of these stitches are rather lumpy. Does that make sense? I feel like I made it too thick, so my stitches aren't laying correctly, and when I look at it, I'm like, that's all I can see, because of course, you're the one who crafted it, so you can see all of the mistakes, but nobody else can. But yeah, I think it's a little lumpy, and I wish I had maybe done it a little bit less, fewer strands, so it wouldn't be so thick. Which is, I guess I'm assuming that's why it's so lumpy, but I could be wrong. It could just be my tension was off, or something was off, so it doesn't lay right. And if you can see the faces of these snakes, this is by Unique Pattern Lovers on Etsy, and the image that shows this pattern, I mean, the facial features, I guess, of the snake seem to be a whole lot more defined in the photograph. So I'm slightly disappointed with that aspect of this pattern. But I think especially the blue snake. I think the green snake, he's okay. And he does look pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever frame this. I don't have any plans to do that, but I finished it, and yeah, I wish I had chosen a little fewer strands so it wouldn't be so lumpy. But yeah, that is finished and knocked off of my major goals list. But now we're going to get into the WIP parade. I've got my tub here. This is all of my WIPs, and I'm just gonna pull one out, and you know, we'll go with the flow. Alrighty, this one on the top here is the one that I've been working on actually, after I finished my snake. I'm gonna take it out of the Q-snap so you can see the whole thing. But like I said in my last video, if I finished my snake, the plan was to work on the gift that I have for my mom and work towards a finish for that one. And I have been doing that. I'll show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Actually, I won't at this moment because I need to give my mom a warning to walk away. So now I'll show you what it's supposed to look like now that my mom has paused the video and walked away. So this is a set of patterns that I bought from Whoopie Cat on Etsy. And these are flower art deco illustrations by Mary Goldet, and they were charted by, I think her name was Annette Swartzmiller, who is the Whoopie Cat designer. But I am doing two at the moment. One, the red iris, is for my mom, and the second is called a Crown Imperial, which is kind of the spiky red flower on this photograph. But I've made a lot of progress on the red iris. So here's what it looked like when I picked it up, and here is where I am now. Now, I finished the border on this side and filled in the background, and now I'm working on filling in the flower and the stem here. I didn't finish the black outline on the border here, mostly because my Q-snap isn't that big. I'm using an 11 by 11 Q-snap, and it didn't reach that far over. So that once I finish filling in the flower here on this first section, then I'm gonna move it over, finish the border, and then bring it down and finish. There's another flower here, and then like some stem parts. Yes, and sorry about all the hanging threads. I like to park my threads when I get to the bottom of the Q-snap so that I don't have to end them, and I can just pick them up before when I move the Q-snap down. So that is my progress on the red iris. And I also, in the same bag, God, where did the bag go? Did it drop to the floor? It sure did. I have my aunt's project, which I haven't made any progress since the last time I picked it up. I did 2,000 stitches on this, and I believe I have it once more on my WIP Go board. It has yet to be called, because the September numbers were already finished projects that I had already accomplished that goal. So I don't have any WIP Go goals to accomplish this month, but this one still has one more, I guess, to do 1,000. And with these my major goals for 2023 with these would be to finish. I'm going to have a finish for each one of these projects on my WIP Go board for next year. And I mean, I think I can finish my mom's project because I'm making quick progress. The border was really fast because there's a lot of block colors, and as soon as I do the outline of the black 310, filling it in is really quick. So the border at least is quick and easy. So I think I can make some significant progress on that for the rest of this year and be pretty close to a finish by the beginning of 2023, so that I can have that goal be slightly more realistic. And as for the Crown Imperial, you can see I barely started that one, but I want to focus on a finish for that because, you know, I'm going to give those two gifts at the same time for my aunt and my mom as a Christmas present. So yes, that is what I want to do with those projects in 2023. All right, now this one is my HAED. This is what it's going to look like. By the way, Mom, you can come back now. This is what it's gonna look like. This is Heaven and Earth Designs Museum Shelf by Amy Stewart. And here's the photograph of what it looked like in my last video. And if you remember, it was really close to a page finish, and I did it. I finished the first page of my HAED, but there's so much more to go. But I had mentioned in my previous video that my plans for 2023 was to finish the entire art shelf for this one, which is kind of unrealistic, especially if my main goal for next year is to finish my gifts, the flowers for my mom and my aunt. So I've kind of dialed that back a little bit. I think, you know, the thing that I mainly want to do is I want to make sure that I do get at least another page finish. So I'm going to do a page finish on my WIP Go board. But if I do successfully finish my 2 flowers, I guess that will be my next major goal, is to make some significant progress on my HAED. So let me put this back. Not necessarily to, you know, finish the art shelf necessarily, but at least work on it for the rest of 2023 until I come up with my next great scheme. Right, this, okay. I will leave this one in the Q-snap because that is all there is. Now, this is what it's going to be looking like. This is something I'm calling Watercolor City. The actual title of it is just City, but it is from an Etsy shop that I will not be giving free advertising because I discovered after I had purchased and started this project that they had been selling copyrighted materials, stuff that had been charted by HAED, and they were selling charts from a kit called, what was it? Make Your Own Hands, I think was the kit name. And I had one of those in my collection, but I UFO'd that project, I think because I was missing some of the kit instructions and it wasn't going good for me. Plus I was doing it on black fabric and I don't like doing things on black fabric. So anyway, this is where I'm at. I do have a somewhat major goal, I suppose, for this one. I do want to do a page finish on this project, which I'm very close to actually. This, I think, is the page, so I just have to finish the corner, which isn't, it's over 1,000 stitches, but it isn't too far fetched that I can finish the page on this one. And then I think I'm gonna move across and keep doing a whole lot of navy blue because I have the most part threads on that side. Even though if I go down, they'll actually see the Watercolor City and it would be slightly more interesting. Also, I have this attached. It's a Christmas tree made out of plastic straws. We did that as a craft at the museum for one of our kids' programs. Our holiday program for kids. We did making a Christmas tree ornament with straws and beads. So I took the example home and tied it to my bag. Alrighty, this one you haven't seen in a while. Okay, what happened? Where is the... Oh yeah. This is a pillowcase. I have the paper. It's a butterflies pillowcase by... What is this by? Design Works Crafts. My aunt bought this for me on Amazon and gave it to me for Christmas in 2020. And I've got 2 of the butterflies on one pillowcase completely embroidered, minus the French knots, which I'm saving till last. And I have 3 more. My goal for next year is to do another butterfly plus all the vines that are attached to it, because you know I'm taking it slowly but surely, because it's a whole bunch of satin stitch and a little bit of back stitch, which gets old pretty quickly. So I can only really, my attention span, I can only do like maybe 1 butterfly at a time, and then I get bored and I need to switch. So maybe I'll do 2 butterflies next year, and you know, maybe make a slightly more progress than I have in the past on that, but meh. All right, this one, let's see. Oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is Human Anatomy by Light Unicorn Designs. And this is where I'm at. Yes, it is upright. And I'm color completing within my Q-snap. And I've got the cranium, and this is the chin, and this is the neck sloping into the shoulders here. So, and the fabric is Honeybee by Vintage Needle Arts. Yes, and it's in 14 count. And this one I don't have any major goals on. This is going to be, you know, picked up a couple times to do 1,000 stitches on it. Alright, what's next? This, yes. This is Ink Circles by Tracy Horner. I will take out this floss so you can actually see the photograph. Ink Circles by, Elemental Dragon Earth by Ink Circles / Tracy Horner. And this is where I'm at currently. Nope, it goes this way. I did a couple dragons. This is a new start this year. I did this as a reward for finishing, what was it that I finished? Oh, Shy Cat, which I finished a couple months ago. And I'm doing this on fabric that I hand dyed myself, and the floss is Karen Water Lilies, number 231, named Ethiopia. Right. I'm gonna put this all away. It'll give me a second here. I don't want to make too much of a mess while I'm doing this. Make the clean up after the fact slightly less of a nightmare. Let's see, next. All right, this is, God, it's, the zipper is stuck. Give me a sec. There we go. This is what this project is gonna look like. This is You Belong to Me by, excuse me. Pardon me. You Belong to Me by Long Dog Samplers. And this is a new start this year. I did this as a reward for finishing my Star Wars piece. And this is where I'm at. I did 1,000 stitches on this, and I started in the bottom right, I believe, corner. And with this, I'm using specialty floss that I bought on Etsy. Oh, and the fabric is Harvest Gold by To Die For Fabrics in 18 count. The red that I'm using is called Red Dragon by Night Stalker's Calling on Etsy. The green is Arugula by Leo and Roxy. And the blue is, let me grab a blue one, Shadow Stone by Stitchy Stuff on Etsy. Hi Kiss, don't get inside the box please. And I'm also using, let me figure out, okay, DMC 7 or 975, which is this brown color that I'm using for the border. And I'm using, let's see, 310 and Ecru in that butterfly. And I'm thinking of adding another fancy color, but I'm not sure, because I wanted, I guess, to make it so that each motif is a different color, but at the same time I don't want the motifs that are next to each other to be the same color. And I was having a little bit of trouble, you know, with just the three, you know, making that work out. Because like with this boat, there's a whole bunch of things that are like standing on top of this boat. So if the boat is green and there's like 3 or 4 things standing on the boat, I don't want any of those things to be green, but if I only have 3 colors to choose from, then that's not gonna work out, essentially. And I don't want to use a crew or 310. I'm going to do the, I guess, the snails and the other insects in that color, in those colors. But the larger things I want to be in interesting colors, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking of, you know, picking another, you know, variegated specialty floss. Although 2 of the colors that I've already chosen aren't like incredibly variegated at all. I mean, they are if you look really closely, but only the red one is really noticeably variegated. But yeah, I was thinking of another color. So I guess leave your suggestions of another color that would match with those things that I've chosen. I did, I guess, base my colors choices off of a photograph that I found on Google of some of the paintings in King Tutankhamun's tomb in ancient Egypt, and I do kind of want to stick with that a little bit. But I think I've exhausted all of the colors that were used in that particular, you know, piece of art, but there are other colors that, you know, have been used in, you know, ancient Egyptian art. So, like, I've seen, you know, photographs that have this cool, like, bright teal color that almost looks like, you know, turquoise, the precious stone. So, I don't know, maybe a turquoise, but I feel like turquoise would be too much because a lot of these colors that I've chose are more muted. So I was also kind of considering like a yellow or a dark, you know, orangey gold, something that will, you know, obviously be different from my fabric choice, which is also a gold, orangey gold color, but something along those lines, because that color is used in my photo inspiration, I suppose. So yeah, give me some color suggestions, or brand suggestions even, and I will make my decision the next time that I pick that up. That, again, in terms of plans, is a thing that I'm going to you know, pick up and do 1,000 stitches here and there, maybe once or twice, but I don't have any major goals with that particular project. You might have noticed me pick up a project bag and put it right back, because that is a fully kitted project that I have yet to start, but I will be starting before the end of 2022. And that is this project. This is Horse by Light Unicorn Designs, and I'm going to be starting that when it's called on WIP Go for a new start, but it's not yet a WIP, so I can't show you anything because there is no progress on it. But I do have it fully kitted and ready to go for when it is called. Alright, my next project is oh my god, Kiss, don't make a mess. Princess Eliana by Mirabilia. And this is my first ever project that I am stitching on linen. And here is where I'm at. I'm doing, where's the photo? I tossed it. Now Hearst is trying to get inside the box. I'm doing this flounce right here with the tassel. I started in the center, which is another thing that I don't normally do. And this is my first ever linen project. And the linen that I chose was the called for. Let me grab the chart and read what the called for was. Where is the called for fabric on here? 32 count Peaceful Purple Linen by Witchelt Imports. So that is the linen that I chose. And I'm doing pretty good with, you know, my first ever linen stitch. I do have a couple over one stitches in there that I didn't intend to do, but I do know where they are, and I'll be able to adjust accordingly. So, come on. Well, I'm not gonna fuss with that and try and get it closed. And I think I only have 2 more WIPs left. Yeah. Gosh, I have fewer WIPs than I thought. All right, the next WIP, well, I guess I need to say the plans for that one. That is a second one that next one that I'm going to be doing only 1,000 stitches on here and there. So no major plans for that project. The next one that I have is this is a set. This is the QS Gray Spaces, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, designed by Josephine Wall. And I am currently working on the one with the blue face. But I am planning on doing all 3 of those. But here is where I'm at. I have a whole bunch of parked threads here. Basically, the way I'm tackling this is because the top here is so confetti heavy that I'm making a scaffolding, I guess. I'm doing a row at a time and then parking them, you know, in the next row, and then I'm going to keep building my scaffolding. And once I've done building a scaffolding, then I'll be able to, you know, color complete like I'm used to, or like I enjoy doing the most. Because, you know, if I tried to do color completing here, it's so confetti heavy that I am 100% guaranteed to miscount, and that will frustrate me to no end. So that is my approach to that one. And again, this one is stitch 1,000 stitches here and there. I have no major plans for that one. And my last WIP is my small, which is a Mill Hill kit from the Alley Cat series, and his name is Ashes. And I'm gonna take him out of the Q-snap because I have it positioned in such a way where almost the entire thing is covered. So here I am, and what I've, whoops, one more. Here I am where I am. I did one corner in the bottom here and his face, and I'm working my way up to connect here with his back foot. And I've done, I guess, a little bit of the other bottom corner. But yeah, I have a goal yet this year to do 1,000 stitches on this one. My remaining WIP Go goals that I have yet to finish is I do 1,000 stitches on a small. I don't believe that I have necessarily 1,000 stitches left to do on this, but I haven't actually looked or counted. So if that is the case and I am short 1,000 stitches, I will have a new start. And my new start will be, what is it? It's by JBW Designs. It's the circle, the cat circle. I don't remember the exact name. I will insert a picture here, and the link to that pattern will be in the description below, so you'll be able to know the actual title of things. I've noticed that I do that a lot. I missay the titles of things. Like when I last talked about my book that I was reading, I said it was The Clockmaker's Daughter by like Kate Morton, and that is not the author's name. So I apologize to the author of The Clockmaker's Daughter because I got your name wrong. But I need to be a little bit more careful and maybe write things down. But I like to wing these Flosstubes, so I don't really write things down, unfortunately. But next time I have to talk about a book, I will write the title and the author down so I don't get it wrong. Because that's kind of important when somebody wants to read something that you've recommended, to not get the title wrong. Or the author wrong either, so. Alright, I think that is all my WIPs and all my plans. So just a general recap of plans. My major goals that I would like to do is complete my gifts for my aunts, which are the flowers from Whoopie Cat on Etsy, which is artwork by Mary Golay. I'm going to complete those 2 flowers, and as a reward for that, I'll probably start a flower of my own and do 1,000 stitches on it. Speaking of new starts, I don't have one of my projects here because I do have a new start. It was my reward for finishing the snake. I'll have to go find it and I'll be right back. Alright. It was over by where I normally keep my WIP box, and it just hadn't made it in the box quite. So yeah, this is my new start. It's called Haunted Welcome by Stony Creek. And I did 1,000 stitches on this. I did all of the welcome and part of the tree that's on the side here. And this, I suppose, is part of my haul. I didn't have this fabric before I started this. This is Mirage by Picture This Plus in, I think, 14 count. I kind of wanted 18 count, but I don't think they had that in stock when I purchased this, so sad. And another part of my haul is I got the little spider dude button and rainbow blending thread from Glisten Gloss, which is one of the called for threads in this. Speaking of which, I want to ask your opinion. You can see here this raven, and you got some back stitching under there, you know, to indicate the wind or him breathing or something like that. Could I do that in that Glisten Gloss stuff and have my raven be breathing glittery fire? Or is that Glisten Gloss stuff so unruly, like Krynic, that it's terrible to stitch with, and I would be insane to backstitch with that, or at least backstitch that much? But that's another thing that you can leave your comments below. And should my raven breathe glitter fire, or should I just backstitch it as called for with the black DMC? Another thing, the white is actually the DMC glow in the dark, which I'm not looking forward to. I've stitched with that before and it sucks. Really does. But I don't know, is there a better glow in the dark thread that I can look into purchasing? Because I plan on doing a lot of this 310 first before I even get to any of this white. So I'll have plenty of time to purchase if necessary. So leave your suggestions. Is there a better glow in the dark thread out there that I can use instead of the DMC? But, oh yeah, and I can't find them right now in this bag. But another part of my haul, I did buy the red buttons in the end, because, why not? Might as well. Anyway, those are my WIPs. And I was halfway through summarizing my plans. But I pretty much did summarize it. My main goals is to finish my parents' gift, or my parent and my aunt's gift, and then make significant progress on museum shelf, so that I don't finish that in 20 years. And I get going on that, because I've had plenty of starts and stops on that I need to, now that I'm satisfied with my fabric choice and everything, we're good. We can just get going. Anyway, yeah, those are my plans. Those are my WIPs, and that is the end of this Flosstube. I'm not going to talk about reading. I did mention in my last video that I was going to, or I had started and read the first 5 chapters of a book. I did finish that book. I'm not going to talk about it because it was relatively unimpressive. The storyline was pretty basic. It took a while to get going in the beginning, and then once it got going and you know, the exciting parts started to unravel, it just was too predictable. It wasn't something that I could necessarily recommend. And like I said, I don't remember the title or well, I do remember the title. It's like What Happened to the Bennetts or something like that. And I don't remember the author's name. So like I said, I'm not going to do that if I can't remember it correctly, because that's not right. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that book, but I have my next book club meeting at the end of this month, and then I'll have a whole another list of things that I'm going to get into reading, because I've kind of taken a wee bit of a hiatus from reading, because, you know, there hasn't really been anything necessarily that's caught my attention that I really, really want to read. And yeah, I just haven't been in the mood. But hopefully having a new list of things that I can and should read from book club will give me that inspiration to get started again. So anyway, that is the end of this Flosstube, and I will see you again in a month's time, maybe. A little bit of a life update again. My coworker, partner in crime, has gotten another job really quickly. I'm alone again, so I'm hoping that the time period between, you know, people, and they will be able to hire somebody a lot more quickly than, you know, than the last time. So I'm hoping that here in the next couple months, instead of the next 6 months like the last time, I'll be getting a new coworker. But if work becomes overwhelming at any stage, because I am the sole employee, I will skip a Flosstube. But I will try to let you guys know on my Instagram if that does happen. But since I'm only filming monthly instead of bi-weekly like I was previously, it should be a little bit more easy for me to find the time to do this. So that is actually the end. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I'll see you guys next time.